Oh boy, this is it, kids. This is the video I've had sitting on the back burner since the day that godforsaken vanilla version of Destiny 2 launched back in 2017. Your boy Jay's trying to break out big on YouTube with this one here, so like, comment, share, subscribe, do yo thing. We're gonna be going over some patch notes today and what exactly Bungie has done with the originally terrible precision slug shotgun. So, without further whatever that French word is, let's get the ball rolling. So you may have noticed that up until recently, trying to use a slug shotgun in any sort of activity was akin to rubbing your wanker between two cheese graters, and by that I mean that it accomplished absolutely nothing. All it did was burn and leave you wondering who hurt you so badly over the course of your life to the point that it made you consider trying to fire one of these knuckle-busting paperweights. But then... General archetype changes. Slug shotguns, PvE damage plus 30%. High impact pulse rifle damage. Yeah, Sully, nobody actually cares about that right now. We're here for shotguns.
Rude.
Yes, that's right. All slug shotguns just got a 30% PvE damage buff across the board, which means all those shotguns that used to be knuckle busters are now neck breakers. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Oh no. I want to savor this. And to that end, we need to discuss a very certain gun, and we need to do it now. And of course, what else would we be talking about other than the king of all slug shotguns, the end-all be-all of 30-meter fisting, the Chaperone. First off, hammer-forged rifling and accurized rounds will buff range. The Roadborne grants additional handling, range, and extra crit damage while the perk is active. Oh boy! And lastly, we've got a hand-laid stock for extra recoil control, which made this nasty to begin with, but now it's a nightmare. Sully, draw the blinds. By default, we're looking at an impact of 75, a range of 100, a stability of 37, a handling at 82, and a reload speed of 37. Hidden stats account for an aim assist of 70 and a zoom of 12. Since we've got a 30% damage buff, that applies to all damage dealt in any PvE environment, so that also means 30% more crit damage when slapping a target's crit point. Getting hit by this thing used to be like having someone grab a tricycle and throw it at your face. The impact on this thing is not to be understated. It holds a max of 6 rounds at a time, it has an unbuffed reserve cap of 17, making it one of those guns that you want to bust out when you know that something is going to die from a single shot. It's aggressive, it hits hard and fast, and leaves the victim in a giant pile of spare limbs, or you miss and it doesn't do anything at all. Against a general red bar on IO at a 1016 scaling, which is my max at the current moment, a crit will hit for 6,446. Once Roadborne is active, that same crit will now hit for 7,903, with 3673 being for a body shot. Now you can take into consideration as well that by default this gun has its range maxed all the way out, sitting at 100, and Roadborne increases that even further, though the buff never gives an actual number. So essentially, it's kind of like getting smacked with a trailer hitch, but from like 40 meters away. Even though its stability is rather low, it's not something that you actually notice when you aim and take a shot. This is mostly due to its lower rate of fire, which gives you an ample amount of time to correct course in the event that you do indeed miss. Slug shotguns are weird for a number of reasons, but in general, they all have a little bit more target act than something like a sniper rifle, so honestly, unless you're just kind of a trash shot, you really shouldn't be missing. Every time you take a shot with this bad boy, it'll kick something fierce, straight up and to the left. Imagine a capital L upside down. That is legit your recoil pattern right there. So, slotting a few unflinching mods might not be such a bad idea in the grand scheme of things. The thing about this gun and why it's so crucial after this update is that beforehand it was the only shotgun in its archetype that really felt like it was worth anything. It rewarded the player for hitting difficult shots with increased handling, range, and crit damage. That was the entire archetype's saving grace. Now here we are, 3 days into the season of arrivals, and oh my lance! Wait, is that still cool or...
No, it's not. Shut the fuck up.
Moving on to general movement, pardon the pun there, this gun handles. It has the smoothest movement I've ever seen in almost any shotgun in any game ever. It does struggle with its reload time a little bit, but we can bypass that with reload mods, and Roadborne and its magazine size is smaller than I'd like, but again, the gun rewards the player for skillful use, which compensates for that. It's sleek, it's quick, there is never a moment where you feel like you have to wrangle with it just to aim down the damn sights, or it feels like the sweetest melted butter that your tongue has ever had the privilege of tasting. It's delectable, it's delicious, it's everything I've ever wanted in a shotgun, and I pray to it every night before I go to sleep. Now, it doesn't have a catalyst, but honestly, that's okay, because if it did, I legitimately think it would become another Telesto. Reload speed is a weird stat for this one just because it fluctuates in and out of buffs, but it is rather lacking unassisted. That's why this has officially become the season of shotgun loader mods, because most slug shotguns struggle in this area something fierce. There are a number of ways that you can offset this with subclasses. For me, if I'm not getting Chains of Woe, I'm not doing it right, because like anything else, that buff will stack on reload mods that you might already have, as well as on top of the Roadborne, making that 37 in reload speed seem a lot more like a 73. When you actually get a precision kill, it buffs your damage, and while it doesn't stack, its cooldown does reset with each successive critical kill. The extra range makes damage over greater distances easier, and the extra handling makes it faster to aim, and its load time increases as well. This makes it perfect for solo encounters. It is designed to hit a target's face with enough force to knock it into a different damn dimension completely. And if that doesn't kill it, whatever's on the other side of that hole in space-time you just ripped open will. As I mentioned earlier, range is capped out at 100, and sweet mother of Jesus, does this thing have some distance. But again, you have to remember this is a shotgun we're talking about. Close range weaponry. The range is there to give this gun an edge over other slug shotguns and to balance out for some of its lower stats so it doesn't feel like its values are loaded or weighted to one side. Roadborne will increase this value past its 100 cap on a critical kill, making even longer distance shots possible, but it doesn't make them any easier. Everybody in their right mind knows that the further out something is, the harder it is to hit. So do yourself a favor, keep your shots within 30 meters. You will thank me later. The Chaperone is best used when you're close enough to communicate with whoever you're shooting by wiggling your eyebrows, and if that doesn't sell it enough, I honestly don't know what does. This is not the best shotgun in the game. That's like asking a father if he has a favorite child. Obviously no, I love them all and I can't choose. It is, however, the best in its archetype, and that's the important part because the extra damage has now made this gun a viable asset to a PvE and loadout. Now, because this is an update to slug shotguns as a whole, I'd be hard-pressed not to mention the various others. If, for whatever reason, you don't have the Chaperone, there are a few other guns you can get your grimy little hands on too. Following closely forever in its shadow are Good Bone Structure, First In, Last Out, Blasphemer, Dust Rock Blues, Retold Tale, Gunnora's Axe, Prophet of Doom. All of these bad boys are 30% more relevant than what they were. This has been a long time coming because slug shotguns have always been absolutely terrible, even since launch, and the only real place that they even really sort of kind of shined was in any sort of PvP environment, but even then, they could still get outshined in various different ways. But we need to keep in mind that the only guns here that can go over 6 in their max mag size are Good Bone Structure, First In, Last Out, Blasphemer, Retold Tale, and lastly, Gunnora's Axe. Mag size is a crucial stat for overall DPS, so the higher that number goes, the better. With that being said, I'd take a hard curve and avoid Dust Rock Blues or Prophet of Doom in PvE environments unless you're just using them for something like 1-2 punch. With slug shotguns, two good stats you absolutely want to have are reload speed and range, with a tiny bit of handling for ease of movement, at least in my own experience. So that narrows down this list of 5 other incredible shotguns that are absolutely devastating on crit points if you don't have the King of Kings, the Chaperone, hallowed be its name. But if we're being realistic here, if you're not firing the Chaperone, are you even firing a shotgun? All of the guns in this video work even better with various different skill trees. Anything that can buff reload is extremely handy, mostly because the majority of these guns have pretty lackluster reload times to make up for a higher impact and overall damage output. If you can afford for it, Top Tree Gunslinger grants Chains of Woe, which buffs reload speed on precision kills, so that's a given right there. Middle Tree Arcstrider is another good one with Lightning Weave. Melee hits drastically increase reload speed, so that's a good thing. If you're a Titan, you could go with the Top Tree Sunbreaker for Tempered Metal. These are just examples, but you see what I mean. There is a plethora of ways that you can make use of this update. It's actually insane. If you have Heavy Arms Loader or Enhanced Shotgun Loader, this is your time to let those damn mods shine and do some work, son. I've got another community curation video coming this weekend, so be on the lookout for that. Until next time, the Boy of Jays is vacating the area.